It's Iceman D.B.H, Brooklyn, East New York. I just jumped off the porch at Dirty Glove Bastards.
Yeah, it's coming and going. What's the name of that cheese on her knees? Bro, I don't be knowing. I know she'll eat her, beat her, and leave.
All right, so we got Iceman D.B.H jumping off the porch with us today, man. Welcome.
What's good? What's good? What's poppin'?
Man, I'm feeling great. How you feeling today?
I'm macking. I'm feeling, feeling good. Feeling, magnificent right now. I'm good.
There you go, man. Yeah, man. So welcome to Atlanta too, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be out here and shit. It's a good town to be in and stuff like that. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on. Big for hip hop. A lot of hip hop. Going on out here. A lot of different musicians and stuff. I like it out here.
Okay. You come down this way often or not too much?
I've been out here to come see family and stuff like that. I did a show out here. It was like last year or the year before last at a little club out here and stuff like that. A couple people from like 1017 people was there and stuff. Got family out here that I see every so often and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's good, man. All right, so you're from Brooklyn, right?
That's a fact, from East New York, Brooklyn.
Okay, East New York, man. I hear it's pretty treacherous in East New York.
Yeah, my hood is, known for a lot of like crime and stuff like that. High crime rate out there. Had like the highest murder rate in the whole New York City at one point and stuff like that. So
wow.
I grew up around that time where it was like a lot of crime and stuff like that. A lot of bad things was going on. But I grew up in an environment where like, my family tried to keep me like grounded and stuff like that. But I grew up in like a black household, Caribbean and African household and stuff like that. So I saw a lot of things, experienced a lot of things growing up and shit like that. So, I was in school. I always was smart, always was in school, always had like good grades and shit. My parents always made sure that I read a lot and that they informed me on a lot of things. But, I got into the streets at a real early age and shit like that. So my neighborhood being how it was and what it was known for, whatever, and shit like that, it kind of like made me view things in a different light and see things, differently than what my family taught me and stuff like that growing up and shit. So, yeah.
So how old were you, would you say, when you jumped off the porch and got into the streets then?
When I first really got into the streets, like really started like going outside, like getting involved, engaging in different activities and shit like that, and being around people. Maybe it's probably the age like 11,
oh, wow.
10, 11 years old. So I was outside at that early age. Like I saw a lot of stuff and shit. Seen my first body. I was probably like 9, 10.
Oh, damn.
See somebody get killed in front of me and shit. So.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Did you suffer from like PTSD after that incident or?
Nah, like the shit happened in front of me or whatever and stuff like that, but it's like I looked at it, I saw it, and then I just kept it moving because I didn't want to get caught up, in the crossfire or whatever. So I kept it pushing and shit. I was looked at it like, damn, all right, that's what's going on out here.
Yeah.
Like,
understood. What would you say was one of the biggest lessons you learned while being out in the streets that young then? Being
out in the streets young, I grew up because I had a lot of knowledge at a young age and shit like that, and my family informed me of a lot of stuff, and I was always reading, always deep in my books and shit. So I studied many different things. I studied like history and stuff like that. I studied like, psychology and shit like that, philosophy, like growing up. So I already knew a lot. So I knew more than the average kid being like 10 years old, 11 years old. Like I was already advanced for my age. I was already like in the club scene too. I was always in the clubs. I was in parties and shit like that. I was already driving when I was like 11, 12 years old. All my friends, we had cars and shit like that. So it was like, I learned that everybody grows at a different pace. Like everybody learns things differently from certain experiences and stuff like that. People pick up on certain things that others don't. And, me being outside so early, I grew up real fast. It kept me when I became an adult, when I reached of age and shit, it kept me away from certain stuff or having to deal with certain things because I already did it. So I'm looking at everybody else that came out late, that was late bloomers and shit like that, that came outside and they trying to engage in certain activities and club and party and all that, and you know, be in the streets heavy and shit like that. They came out late, so you know, I was moving different from a lot of people and shit. So, but I got caught up in a lot of stuff. I was incarcerated. You know, I went to jail and stuff like that. You know, I did time in prison. I did 5.5 years in prison and shit like that. So, like, I came out when I was still young. So, my views on life are very different than a lot of people and shit like that. Like, and the stuff that I experienced coming up, like, made me into the person I am right now. So I don't regret nothing that happened and stuff like that, because I wouldn't be who I am and I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have now and shit like that, and I wouldn't be able to move in the way that I move now. So I feel like everything is a learning experience in life, you feel me? It's just that some people go through stuff, you know, quicker than others, like,
So where were you at mentally when you came home after those 5.5 years? Were you trying to do something more positive than what you were doing, or?
I came home and, you know, I just felt like when I was incarcerated, when I was in prison and shit like that, all the older dudes and everybody that was around me and they was in my presence and shit, like, they felt the aura for me, and they told me, like, from me speaking to them and us having conversations and building with each other about life and shit, they was like, yo, you got a pretty good head on your shoulders, you feel me? Like, you more smarter than a lot of cats that's in here, that's in prison. You don't need to be here. So I always looked at that like I was always a crowd mover. I was never really a follower. I never really followed what other people said or whatever and shit like that, or did what others did. Always did my own thing. So they saw that I was like a natural born like leader. So they was like, yo, you know, go home and we believe that you're gonna be something like real big, like you're gonna be something, you know, powerful. Like, we don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something big because you think outside the box. Like, your thinking is different from a lot of people and stuff like that. Yeah. And we see that people follow you. So, you know, I came home with the mentality like, yo, you know, I wanna get myself together. I wanna make money and shit like that, keep myself, you know, disciplined, keep myself structured in a way that, you know, I won't have to engage in certain activities or be around certain people because I got a plan and I got goals and shit like that. And I know exactly what would need to be done and how long it's gonna take me to get there. So I try to, as soon as I came home, I was just trying to execute everything that was in my plan that I already had before I came home.
Okay. So when did making music enter your life? Was it something you had always been doing? Is it something that you kind of found recently, or?
I've been rapping since I was probably like 8, 9 years old. I've been spitting, like saying little rhymes here and there and shit like that. And I had family that was in the entertainment business. Like, I had one of my brothers, he used to work for Bad Boy and shit like that. And he used to work with their street team and stuff like that. And I also had my, you know, my sister-in-law, who was married to my brother at the time. She was like a producer and stuff like that, executive. She worked with Wu-Tang, worked with Old Dirty Bastard, all them and shit like that. So I've been looking at it like, all right, I might do music one day, because I was already trying to do the music. And then I started taking it real serious once I came home from prison. And I saw that like other people in my neighborhood was doing the music shit too, but I knew I was talented because I was rapping. I was rapping for a while and shit, coming in and out of school, junior high school, and I was battling people and stuff like that. And I was always rhyming, like, you really nice. So I was like, all right, I want to do the rap thing. I'm gonna invest my money, you feel me, try to do the rap thing and shit like that and see where it goes. So I started putting myself out there, promoting myself, talking to different club owners and shit like that, different promoters, different people that was already in the industry and shit like that. And I started doing shows, opening up for people. I did a show with Uncle Murder, opened up for Uncle Murder, opened up for Cassidy and stuff like that. Opened up for Judah Priest, Wu-Tang and stuff like that. He affiliate Wu-Tang. I was doing shows, opened up for Big 30, Pooh Shiesty and shit in Florida. Did shows in Texas. Did shows in Jersey with Hot 97. Went to Hot 97 a couple times and shit like that. I was always in the clubs, networking with different people, different DJs, people that was in the industry. So I didn't know the business side of the industry when I first started like coming in. You feel me? Like I made a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. And I learned from it because I started to realize I had more knowledge on the game than a lot of people around me did. So once I started learning the game and shit like that, and I started applying what I knew to what was going on in my music, everybody started like noticing that my direction that I was going in was different than other artists in my neighborhood. So they kind of looked at it like, all right, yeah, he might, you know, he might make it somewhere with this music shit. So I always kept it where it was like everything that I did had to revolve around me, my family, me bettering myself, and the music.
Yeah.
So I just kept it pushing, and now I'm here. I'm off the porch.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of just speak on the importance of networking outside of New York.
Mm-hmm. You gotta be able to network. You gotta be able to travel, go places and shit, and push your product out there, because nobody gonna know about your brand or know who you are if you're not promoting your shit and pushing your shit and getting into the eyes of the people that can see you. Because it's one thing to hear somebody, but when people see you in the physical or whatever performing, and they see you giving out your merchandise or engaging with your fans and showing them love or whatever and all that, you performing, they seeing your energy, that make them probably even want to deal with you even more. Because they're like, nah, he's real. Like, he's really out here. Like, he's performing. I seen him do his thing. I like how he was as a person and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's a real big thing, like going out, traveling. Some people don't have the, you know, the expenses. They don't have the money to really, you know, travel like that. You feel me? Like, but for the people that do, you feel me? Like, try to make it your business to like try to go out to Cali, do some shows, go to Texas, go to Chicago, go to these states, go to PA, do the shows and shit like that. You never know who you might meet, who you might run into, because people all over the world that do music, and they connected with many different people and stuff like that. Yeah. So you just building yourself up more.
Yeah, and I see you be posting, like, you be at a lot of these private industry parties too, man. What are those experiences like?
I meet a lot of different people and stuff like that in the industry, and some of them already know who I am, some of them they don't. I'm meeting them, talking to them about different things that's going on in the industry and how I could help. How can they help me build my brand or push myself more to put myself out there, what connections they have, you feel me? And, you know, I just been doing it like that, like going to different seminars and stuff like that, industry parties, and listening to people that have been in the game for a long time, that have been doing it, what their experience was, what knowledge they have on the game, or like what they feel I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right with my brand, stuff like that. It's all like a learning process, you feel me? Like, you're gonna keep on learning, like keep on learning and keep on growing, elevating. Yeah. So that's been my experience coming from these like industry parties and shit.
I got you, man. And what's your thoughts on the music scene in Brooklyn, you know, all the drill music and everything that be coming out the city?
I like some of the drill shit, but you know, that shit is cool, but I feel like people need to be more diverse. Like, they need to like change up their style, like put out drill, but put out like a love song, or put out like, what is storytelling that? I want to hear something else, something different. Like, I don't want to keep on hearing the same thing. I want to hear a different sound. Like, when my sound is different, because I got club bangers, I got shit for the streets, I got stuff for the ladies, I got storytelling, I got, you know, different shit. So motivational music and stuff like that, like, it's not just one type of sound.
Yeah. I feel like that's always important for an artist, to be versatile like that, so you don't get boxed in to just one sound too.
Yeah, that's important, because when you do that, you open it up the gates for you to touch different people that like different types of music. Because somebody might be into R&B but hear your love song, now they liking you because they heard you, you know, rap a love song. You might have a club banger, people might be in a pop and stuff like that, and you know, different shit. So they be like, oh, that, but I like that club shit. Like, that was hot. Like, I like that. You want to reach different crowds of people. You don't want to stay in one particular crowd.
Nah, absolutely, man. I saw you got an opportunity to do an interview on Power 105, man. That's huge right there.
Yeah, I did an interview with them. with my son Easy. He did an interview with me. He was touching up on everything that's going on in my career. And talking about my new single, Henny No Chaser, that's out right now. I got the video out, shit's doing numbers. Everybody in New York City saying it's a hit record and stuff like that. So I'm trying to push that right now, promoting that. And we just gonna keep on pushing that Henny No Chaser right now. Like that shit is hot. Like if you haven't seen the video, go check it out on YouTube. You know, Henny No Chaser. Go check it out on Spotify and all that, Audio Max, Spinrilla, Dat Piff. However you stream your music, listen to your music, it's out there.
Yeah. What was your inspiration when you recorded that song? Like, were you off the Henny, or was that the vibe in the studio room that night, or break this down?
It might have been, because we had some Henny in the studio that night. We had a couple blunts and shit. Niggas was smoking and all that. And I feel like Henny is like a mood changer. It changes your mood and stuff like that. So depending on how you feeling at that time, it might be the total opposite, and it might boost it because you off the Henny. So if you thinking about doing something crazy and shit, you might go to the extreme because you off the Henny. You might, if you with your joint and y'all together and you feeling affectionate and shit like that, you might go extra mad because you off the Henny. Like, so who don't like Henny with no chaser? I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah. Put
the song together and shit like that. I heard the beat was fire. Produced by Dizzy Banco, he did his thing on that. You feel me? And I just went off on it. Everybody was like, yo, you going off, like that shit fire.
So you were kind of expecting it to go up when you dropped this, or what were your expectations when you threw this out there?
When I threw it out there, my expectation was like, nah, the streets gonna love this shit, because my niggas heard it and they was like, yo, they love this shit. Everybody was like, yo, this shit fire. So I was like, nah, this shit gonna be a hit. Then my wife was like, oh, this shit fire. Like, so everybody was like, this shit fire. So I knew it was a hit. And then when girls in the club started saying this shit was fire, I knew it was a hit. Like,
yeah, what's these reactions been like in the club? When you're there and you get to see this live and in action.
I performed it, like one time or whatever, the spot we was out at a party and all that. Everybody was like, yo, who the fuck is that? Like, that shit fire. Like, that shit is fire. Like, whose song is that shit on the radio? And that's when I knew, like, nah, this shit about to bust.
Yeah. Any thoughts of doing a remix, or?
Yeah, I might do a remix. I got a couple people in the industry and shit. They was thinking about hopping on it and shit. A couple people I spoke to and shit, they want to hop on it because they heard it. They feel like the song got a lot of potential and shit like that. A lot of DJs, DJs in London and all that been playing this shit. They spinning it on their radio stations out there. Got a couple DJs, they want to spin it. I'm about to, go to the studio, chop it up real quick.
Okay. Are you working on a new project right now? Or you kind of just focusing on singles and videos at this point?
I'm pushing the single and all that, and I got the video, I'm pushing that. But also I got another single that's about to drop too and shit. I'm about to put it out soon. Like before the year is over, you're gonna hear some new heat, banger. And after that, we're just gonna be pushing that. I got a couple shows I'm out to do in Brooklyn and stuff like that.
Okay.
In the city, so doing more shows, promoting, pushing my shit.
Yeah.
Might even start a little app. Got a little app I'm about to put out. Yeah.
That's dope right there. And you got your own label, Hard Body Paper Chasers.
Got my own label, Hard Body Paper Chaser Records. I've been pushing that for a little while. That's the LLC and shit, got my shit together. I'm looking for artists, like people that I could promote and stuff like that, but I gotta see something in you. I gotta really see the hunger and like the dedication. I gotta see that you really wanna do this music shit for real, because they probably looking at it like, yo, I'ma just drop music. Nah, this shit is like really a business. Like,
oh, absolutely.
If you're not already business minded, I'm not gonna wanna do business with you, because I'm gonna look at it like, yo, you a liability. Like I'm gonna lose with you, because you're not gonna be able to make moves on your own when I'm trying to like build you and shit, talk to you and try to motivate you to try to do other things and shit. You like you're stuck in one surface, like you can't navigate.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for somebody like that really want to take this shit serious, and I might, put something behind them, push them and shit, and put them under the label.
I got you, man. What does the D.B.H in your name stand for?
D.B.H, that's the big homie. Yeah, D.B.H.
Who gave you that, or is that something you came up with?
I mean, that's what they call me, the big homie where I'm at,
Okay.
So I was like, all right, Iceman. They been calling me Iceman and all that. No, like he cold, like Iceman. You know what I mean? Right. D.B.H. Put the D.B.H. right there on the big. I felt like the big homie was too long.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, D.B.H. All right, fuck it.
I fuck with that, man. So, 2023, right around the corner, man. What's some goals you got set for the new year?
Some goals I got set for the new year. I'm thinking about like pushing my music out even more, putting it in like different places and stuff like that. Doing more shows and like basically like learning more and building myself up more and shit like that and getting more stuff accomplished and trying to push my shit to the next level, like where I see fit, where I should be at. Because, everything is a process. Everything is a process. Everything, it takes time. So I'm still building and sort of gonna be where I want to be. And then after that, I probably won't be where I want to be because I'm gonna have another goal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to reach. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about elevation, man. Each year you want to get higher and higher than you was the previous year.
That's
man.
a fact. Yeah,
Definitely.
It's all about elevation. You gotta be able to move and shit.
Yeah.
Gotta be productive all the time. So.
Yeah, and just, kind of speak on the grind that comes with being an independent artist in the game right now.
The grind of being an independent artist, if you don't have, like, you gotta have some type of backing, like, you gotta have some type of, like, money involved, like, with you already. You gotta be getting money, you feel me, really do this shit because you investing your money in a lot before you see a return or anything, like, or see any type of bread. You gotta be already pushing yourself and investing in yourself already. And it's hard for some people because they bad with money management. They got certain habits and shit like that. They don't know how to like really invest their money in certain things. They don't have knowledge on certain stuff or what they should do, what they shouldn't do, because they spend a lot of like idle time doing nothing. Like it's crazy. So with me being an independent artist, like I'm investing a lot of bread in this shit, like a lot of money going into this shit, and I'm still like pushing myself and putting myself out there and like still moving. You gotta be moving. Mm-hmm. Like you gotta be doing something. Like the people wanna see you moving, doing something. They don't wanna see you staying in one place. Like, nah, what the fuck? What's going on with him? Like, he came out with that song or I ain't hear nothing from him or I ain't hear nothing, no news about him. Like, you gotta be on a constant movement for me. Like, for the people that wanna be engaged and shit.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Like consistency is, when you're independent artist, man, that is definitely the key, man. Because you got to just stay in these people's face too, man. Yeah, that's real. Outside of music, what are you into? You got any other businesses or?
I'm trying to build up my own little business right now. I'm thinking about opening up a couple like lounges and shit like that, and like event spots and stuff.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into that. Thinking about starting my own little security team and shit.
That'd be dope. Yeah. What's some advice you would share to the youth coming up right now?
Advice to the youth right now, just be careful, like really like be aware of your movements and shit and what's going on and shit, and always like have a goal, have something like that you looking towards, like something that you're trying to accomplish. Don't try to spend a lot of time doing nothing, you feel me? Stay active and be productive, you feel me? Stay around the right people. Yeah. You gotta have the right people around you. Like you gotta have the right circle and right people around you that have your best interests, you feel me, at heart. Like they really care about you, love you, whatever. They wanna see you prosper because they know if you prosper, they're gonna prosper. You feel me? Like you gotta just be aware who around you and shit like that. Make the right moves. Like shit's like a chess game. You gotta know how to make the right moves.
Yeah.
Or you gonna lose.
Not for real. Did you have to change your circle when you came home from prison?
Yeah, my circle changed a lot. I started like people that I thought was my friends and shit that really wasn't my friends. I had to cut off. You feel me? Because we wasn't going in the same direction. We was seeing like life in a different light, and also there was a lot of hate because they saw me going up, and they was staying stagnant. They was doing the same thing they've been doing, and they was comfortable. So I had to remove myself from certain people and get away from certain things or whatever that I felt like it was gonna keep me at a low spot.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to elevate, I'm trying to go up. And I can't have that type of energy around me. You feel me? I can't allow people to try to pull me back from doing what I'm doing.
No, that's real shit. And sometimes that could be difficult, but it's best for you.
Yeah, you gotta know what's best for you. If you're not in tune on what's going on with yourself and your surroundings and shit like that, then it's gonna be, you're gonna have a hard life.
Nah, for
So
real.
you gotta know what's going on. You gotta be aware. You gotta be on point. So I just say, you know, it's all about making the right moves. You got no room for error. You got no room for error. You can make a slight little error, but you got no room for big errors, because too many errors, it's like you might take an even bigger loss. Something might happen where it's like it can't be corrected. So you got to be able to move the right way.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been able to like keep afloat and keep on doing the things that I do, because I know if I keep the right energy around me and shit like that, that things are gonna go good. So I try to stay focused and do what I have to do every day and try to keep myself balanced, you know, keep myself level-headed.
Yeah, absolutely. Life is too fragile these days, man.
Facts.
Yeah. All right, Iceman, you got a shout outs you'd like to give before you wrap it up here, bro?
Yeah, I want to shout out, everybody, East New York, Brooklyn. I want to shout out my stars, all the ices that's out there, all the shines and all that. I want to shout out my family, my loved ones, my wife, my daughter, everybody that's behind me or whatever and stuff like that, that support me or pushing my brand and stuff like that, or I want to see me win. I want to see me win. I want to see y'all win. So let's win together, Go check out my music on Spotify, YouTube, all that. Iceman D.B.H. Go to Instagram, Mr_so_icy, ICEY. Got my website, www.icemandbh.com. I got that. Yeah, just look out. I'm coming. Got new music coming out, new visuals coming out and shit. I'm coming hard. 2023 coming up. I'm about to go hard. A lot of stuff about to happen. Just stay tuned.
Yeah, it's coming and going. What's the name of that tree on her knees? Bro, I don't be knowing. I know she a eater, beat her and leave her straight to Uber, she going.